God message today in this moment, as the stillness around you settles like the gentle hush before dawn. I want you to breathe slowly and let your heart open, because God's presence is drawing close in a way that feels almost like the soft brush of wind across your spirit, and if you listen closely, you will sense that this is not an ordinary message but a divine whisper meant to reach the deepest part of you, for the Lord, who sees beyond what your eyes can perceive, is leaning toward your life with a tender urgency and saying, "My child, do not turn away from this connection. For the one you are thinking about is still woven into the purpose I have spoken over your days." And as those words rest upon you, let them settle with reverence, because God does not speak lightly. He speaks with intention, with love, and with the wisdom of eternity, and right now, He is guiding you through something that is more spiritual than emotional, more purposeful than accidental, more divine than logical. And as you allow your heart to receive this, imagine yourself walking through a quiet field at sunrise in a place far from noise, perhaps somewhere like the peaceful outskirts of Meadow Ridge Valley or the humble town of Cedarbrook, where the sky glows with soft gold and the air feels like a holy reminder that even in silence, God is working. Because sometimes, when a person enters your life and stirs something profound in your soul, it is not merely chemistry or coincidence, but the breath of God activating a chapter you didn't know you were ready for. And maybe you tried to ignore it. Maybe you tried to push the feeling away. Maybe you even asked God to erase them from your heart. Yet no matter what you did, the thought of them returned like the echo of a name carried by the wind across the hills of places you've never visited yet feel strangely familiar to your spirit. And that's because this connection was never random. God positioned it, orchestrated it, and allowed it. And just as Scripture tells us that the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, your steps, your encounters, and even your unexpected feelings have been part of a divine map leading you toward growth and revelation. And though your mind has wrestled and your emotions have fluctuated, your soul has remained steady in its knowing, because the soul recognizes what the mind questions, and God whispers what the heart fears to admit. And right now, God is saying, do not walk away. Not yet, because this story is not over. And though the silence feels heavy and the distance feels like a wall, heaven sees something different. A pause, not an ending. A preparation, not abandonment. A divine rearranging, not rejection. And much like Joseph in the waiting years, or David in the hidden fields, or Ruth in the fields of barley, you too are in a season of holy preparation where God is doing more behind the scenes than your eyes can observe. And as you stand here spiritually with this message washing over you, understand that the person on your heart has been going through their own quiet awakening, wrestling with their own regrets, realizing their own mistakes, feeling the absence of your presence like a light they once took for granted, but now crave again like warmth on a cold morning. And though they may not speak it or show it, their heart is stirring. their spirit is restless, and their thoughts circle back to you in ways they cannot ignore, because when God connects two souls, distance does not dissolve the bond, silence does not erase the memory, and time does not weaken the pull. Instead, God uses separation to strengthen clarity, deepen awareness, and purify intentions. And while you have been seeking answers, they have been experiencing conviction. And while you have been praying for signs, they have been receiving spiritual reminders of you, your kindness, your loyalty, your heart, your value, and the Lord has allowed certain doors to close, not to break this connection but to protect it from unraveling too soon. Because had things continued the way they were, someone would have carried wounds into the future, someone would have broken under pressure, or both of you would have lost something sacred before its appointed time. And so God, in His mercy, placed a pause like a divine hand gently holding two hearts apart long enough for healing, for maturity, for spiritual realignment, and though the stillness feels endless, it is accomplishing something eternal, for God knows the exact moment when one heart is ready to understand the other, and He knows when the soil is ready for the seed, when the season is ready for the rain, and when the promise is ready for fulfillment. So even now, as your spirit feels the quiet tug, understand that it is not just you, because they feel it too, and the pull is mirrored, the longing is mutual, and the stirring is shared, even if unspoken. There are moments when they reach for their phone to message you but hesitate, moments when your name crosses their mind like a prayer they didn't mean to pray, moments when a memory flashes unexpectedly and their heart softens in ways they didn't anticipate, and each of these moments is part of God's gentle shaping of their heart, nudging them toward humility, honesty, and healing. And just as the shepherd leaves the 99 for the one, God is shepherding this connection with a love you cannot fully see but can profoundly feel. And though the enemy has tried to plant confusion, fear, and doubt, the Lord is standing guard over this connection like a lighthouse in the storm, ensuring that both hearts are led through darkness into light, through uncertainty into purpose, through silence into restoration. And as the days pass, you may feel sudden shifts in your spirit, moments of warmth, waves of emotion, flashes of inner knowing, and every one of those is God's way of confirming that He is not done with this story, for the author of your life is still writing, still aligning, still weaving, and as you listen to this message, He is strengthening your faith so that you do not walk away from something He has ordained. And though your logical mind wants closure, your spiritual heart knows this is not the final chapter, because God is saying that the reunion will not look like the past but will look like healing, honesty, and renewal, where the version of them that returns will be softened, awakened, humbled, and ready in ways they weren't before. And the version of you that receives them will be wiser, more grounded, and more surrendered to God's will than ever. And when the two of you meet again, whether in a quiet cafe in a town like Riverstone Ridge, or under the warm glow of a sunset near the cliffs of Havenbrook, or simply in an everyday moment that God has already prepared, the conversation will flow differently, the energy will feel different, and the connection will carry a depth that only divine timing could create. And in that moment, you will understand why God asked you not to walk away, why He kept their name on your spirit, why He allowed the yearning to remain even when it made no sense, because this connection was never meant to be a fleeting chapter, but a meaningful part of your unfolding story. And as this message settles into your heart, let the final truth anchor your spirit. God is not a God of confusion but of clarity, and He would not allow such a persistent inner pull if it were not rooted in purpose. So hold steady, stay patient, keep your faith anchored, and trust that the one who formed galaxies with a word is guiding your steps with the same power and tenderness. And as you carry this message into the rest of your day, let the moral echo through your thoughts like a psalm written upon your heart. The connections God breathes into existence do not fade. They flourish in His timing, they strengthen through His guidance, and they return with His blessing. So do not walk away, beloved child of God, for what He has begun in your heart He will bring to completion in His time, and when He does, the story that unfolds will remind you why faith was always worth holding on to. Type yes if you believe in God. Type 1111 if you believe in God.